There are moments in life when words become useless, when justifying yourself serves no purpose, when defending your position is a waste of energy. Those moments when the only wise response is silence. Silence isn't weakness, it's mastery. It's not passivity, it's controlled strength. Today, I'm going to show you how to stay silent in the face of criticism, resist in the face of storms, and build your own path when everyone tells you to take theirs. These 8 Stoic lessons will transform you. They'll teach you to no longer need anyone's approval, to no longer be shaken by circumstances, and to become completely autonomous in your capacity to create the life you want. The Stoics knew something 99% of people ignore. No one will come build your life for you. No one will save you from your circumstances. The only person you can count on 100% is yourself. And that's a deeply liberating truth. I want you to know these lessons require practice and time. Deep transformation is a progressive process. There will be difficult days when you'll want to give up, and that's normal. If you're going through a particularly trying period, don't hesitate to seek help from a professional. Asking for support is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. Before we begin, if you're feeling it, go down to the comments and write, "I build my own path, starting today. I am Stoic." With this, you commit to yourself to become someone who no longer depends on external validation, who resists in the face of trials, and who creates their own way. Write it now. Don't miss any of these lessons, especially the last one, which will change everything for you. If you find value in these videos, I encourage you to subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Accept rejection with dignity. Rejection hurts. No matter how many times you're told it shouldn't affect you, the truth is, it hurts. Being rejected by someone you appreciate, not getting the opportunity you wanted, seeing your efforts ignored or minimized, all this wounds. And it's normal to feel this pain. You don't need to pretend it doesn't touch you. But here's what the Stoics deeply understood. You can feel the pain of rejection without letting that rejection define your worth. You can be hurt without being broken. You can be disappointed without being destroyed. The difference between someone who grows and someone who stagnates lies in how they handle rejection. Most people react to rejection in 2 toxic ways. Either they collapse and internalize the rejection as proof of their inadequacy, or they become defensive and aggressive, seeking to prove others wrong. Both reactions are prisons. One makes you hate yourself, the other makes you hate the world. There's a third way, the Stoic way. Accept rejection with dignity. This doesn't mean ignoring it or pretending it doesn't hurt. It means acknowledging it, extracting possible lessons from it, then moving forward without carrying the weight of bitterness or resentment. When someone rejects you, it's not a universal verdict on your worth. It's simply a person who made a decision based on their own criteria, their own needs, their own fears and limitations. This decision isn't about you as much as you think. It's about who they are, what they're looking for, where they are in their own life. Stop taking rejection personally. It's not always about you. Sometimes you're excellent, but not what they're looking for. Sometimes your timing is wrong. Sometimes they're not ready to receive what you offer. Sometimes they're afraid of something you represent. None of this has anything to do with your intrinsic worth. Accepting rejection with dignity means not over-justifying yourself. When someone doesn't want you, your idea, your offer, your friendship, you don't need to launch into desperate defense. You don't need to convince them of your worth. If they don't see it, that's their right. Your worth exists independent of their recognition. Stay silent in the face of rejection when silence is the most dignified response. No long messages to explain, no desperate attempts to change their mind, no emotional begging. A simple, "I understand," or "Thanks for being clear," then you withdraw with your dignity intact. Rejection also reveals something important to you. It shows you who truly deserves your energy. People who reject you do you a favor by removing themselves from your life. They free up space for those who will truly appreciate you. They allow you to redirect your energy toward better opportunities. Every rejection brings you closer to the right opportunity. Every no you receive directs you toward the yes that truly matters. But you can only reach that yes if you go through the no's with dignity rather than bitterness. Epictetus taught that we suffer not because of what happens to us, but because of the judgments we pass on what happens to us. Rejection itself is just a neutral event. It's your interpretation that transforms it into either catastrophe or learning opportunity. If you're ready to accept rejection like a stoic, with dignity and without bitterness, go to the comments and write, "Rejection doesn't define my worth." Because people who truly succeed in life aren't those who were never rejected. They're those who learn to transform every rejection into fuel to move forward. Lesson 2. Remain unshakable in chaos. Chaos is inevitable. You can plan everything, control everything, organize everything, and suddenly something unexpected will surge and overturn all your plans. A financial crisis, a breakup, a betrayal, an illness, a professional failure. The world doesn't ask your permission to create chaos. The question, therefore, isn't how to avoid chaos, but how to stay standing in the middle of it. How to maintain your inner stability when everything around you collapses. How to be the immovable rock in the raging storm. Remaining unshakable doesn't mean being insensitive. You don't need to become an emotionless robot. You can feel fear, anger, sadness, frustration. These emotions are human and legitimate, but you don't allow these emotions to dictate your actions. You feel them without being controlled by them. External chaos can never create internal chaos without your permission. Circumstances don't determine your state of mind. They create a context, but you always choose your response. Between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space lies your power to choose. When chaos arrives, the first thing untrained people do is panic. They rush into action without reflection. They make impulsive decisions based on fear. They amplify the problem instead of solving it. External chaos then creates internal chaos, which creates even more external chaos. The Stoic does the opposite. When chaos arrives, they first pause. They breathe. They observe. They don't react immediately. They create space between the event and their response. In this moment of pause, they regain control of their internal state before deciding their external action. Your calm in chaos becomes your superpower. While everyone panics, you think. While everyone reacts emotionally, you analyze rationally. While everyone amplifies the problem with their anxiety, you seek the solution with clarity. Remaining unshakable requires training. You don't develop this capacity during crisis, you develop it before. Every small daily stress is a training opportunity. When you're stuck in traffic, when someone interrupts you, when a project is delayed, these are your training sessions. Practice stability in small chaos to be ready for big ones. If you lose your calm for a slow cue, how will you handle a real crisis? If you collapse emotionally over minor criticism, how will you resist a real storm? Anchor yourself in what you can control. Chaos creates the illusion that everything is out of control. But that's never true. You always control something: your thoughts, your actions, your reactions, your attitude. Focus all your energy on these domains rather than wasting it on what escapes your control. Chaos also reveals who you truly are. Anyone can stay calm when everything goes well. True character shows under pressure. It's in chaos that you discover your true strength or your true weaknesses. It's your opportunity to prove to yourself what you're capable of. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the Roman Empire amid constant wars, betrayals, and epidemics, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He knew his inner stability was the only thing chaos couldn't snatch from him. If you're ready to become unshakable no matter what happens around you, go to the comments and write, "I am the calm in the storm." Because in an increasingly chaotic world, your stability becomes your most precious competitive advantage. Lesson 3. Fatigue isn't a reason to stop. You're tired, I know. Life is exhausting. Between responsibilities, goals, relationships, disappointments, constant efforts, you have the right to be tired. No one denies your fatigue. It's real and legitimate. But here's the crucial distinction the Stoics made. Temporary fatigue doesn't justify abandoning what matters. There's a difference between resting intelligently and giving up prematurely, between recharging your batteries and throwing in the towel. Fatigue is a signal, not a verdict. Your body and mind are telling you they need attention, not that you must abandon everything. When you're tired, you need rest, recovery, perhaps revising your strategy. But you don't need to stop completely. It's important to clarify something. I'm not talking about severe burnout, clinical depression, or pathological exhaustion. These conditions require professional help and true, prolonged rest. If you're in that state, seek help and take time to heal. There's no shame in that. I'm talking about that normal fatigue that comes from sustained effort. The one that makes you think, "I can't take it anymore," when in reality, you still can. The one that whispers to abandon when you're closer to the goal than you think. That fatigue isn't a reason to stop. The problem is, our society has normalized giving up as soon as it becomes difficult. As soon as you feel resistance, discomfort, fatigue, you're told, listen to your body, stop. But your body doesn't always tell you the truth about your real capabilities. Your body prefers comfort to growth. Everyone who's accomplished something significant had to continue despite fatigue. The athlete who trains when their muscles burn. The entrepreneur who works on their project after a full workday. The artist who creates when inspiration isn't there. All learned to negotiate with their fatigue, not obey it blindly. Learn to distinguish different types of fatigue. Physical fatigue requires rest. Mental fatigue requires a break. But soul fatigue, the one that comes from discouragement, repetition, absence of visible results, that one requires perspective and perseverance, not abandonment. Sometimes the only way out of fatigue is through. Like a marathon runner who hits the wall at kilometer 30, but discovers a second wind if they continue. Rest alone doesn't always solve fatigue. Sometimes it's accomplishment that dissolves it. Adjust your strategy when you're tired. Slow down perhaps, but don't stop completely. Do less, but still do something. Reduce intensity, but maintain consistency. A small step taken with fatigue is worth more than no step at all. Fatigue is also a test of your commitment. It's easy to do things when you feel inspired, motivated, energized. The real test is, will you continue when all inspiration has disappeared and only pure discipline remains? Seneca wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Difficulty diminishes when you continue despite it. What seems insurmountable today will become manageable tomorrow if you persist. If you're ready to continue, despite fatigue, to rest when necessary but without abandoning what matters, go to the comments and write, "I rest, I don't quit." Because the difference between those who realize their dreams and those who abandon them often plays out in these moments of fatigue where you have the choice between persevering or giving up. Lesson 4. Transform rage into momentum. Rage is energy, raw, powerful, often destructive energy. When you're angry, when you're furious, when injustice burns you from inside, you possess intense emotional fuel. The question isn't whether you'll feel this rage, but what you'll do with it. Most people do one of two things with their rage. Either they express it destructively, they explode, destroy relationships, make impulsive decisions they regret, or they repress it and let it gnaw at them from inside, creating bitterness, resentment, and sometimes health problems. The Stoics proposed a third way, emotional alchemy. Transform rage's energy into fuel for constructive action. Don't deny rage, don't express it blindly, but channel it towards something productive. You were unfairly rejected? Transform that rage into determination to prove to yourself and the world what you're capable of. You were betrayed. Transform that rage into commitment to build something so solid no one can destroy it. You were underestimated? Transform that rage into motivation to exceed all expectations. History is full of people who transformed their rage into success. Athletes who used rejection as motivation to become champions. Entrepreneurs who built empires to prove wrong those who doubted them. Artists who channeled their pain into works that changed the world. Rage gives you energy that normal motivation can't provide. It pushes you to act with intensity you wouldn't find in ordinary circumstances. It's emotional superfuel. The danger is it can fuel destruction or creation. You choose. To transform rage into momentum, you must first acknowledge it without judgment. Don't tell yourself you shouldn't be angry. You are. It's a fact. Accept this energy as it is. Then, instead of discharging it impulsively, ask yourself this question: how can I use this energy constructively? Maybe this rage can fuel your workouts. Maybe it can give you courage to make that change you've been postponing for months. Maybe it can give you strength to end that toxic situation you tolerate. Well-directed rage breaks chains. There's a difference between destructive rage and constructive rage. Destructive rage seeks to hurt, to revenge, to destroy. It leads nowhere except toward more chaos. Constructive rage says, "I'll show them," then gets to work. It doesn't talk, it acts. Use your rage as a reminder of what matters to you. If something enrages you, it's because it touches something important to you, a value, a principle, a dream. This rage tells you, this matters, fight for it. It's an alarm signal waking you from complacency. But warning, rage can't be your only long-term fuel. It can help you start, it can give you an intense boost, but you can't live permanently in this state. Use rage to create initial momentum, then let discipline and sense of purpose take over. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like the one who wronged you." Transforming your rage into excellence, into creation, into success, that's true revenge, not destroying the other, but your own elevation. If you're ready to transform your negative energy into constructive force, go to the comments and write, "My rage becomes my fuel." Because those who truly succeed aren't those who never felt anger, they're those who learn to transform every injustice into motivation to rise even higher. Lesson 5. Act despite fear. Fear never disappears. You can read all the personal development books, follow all the trainings, meditate for years. Fear will always be there. It's part of your biology, your survival system. It's normal and even healthy to have fear. Here's what the Stoics understood that most people ignore. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is action despite fear. It's not "I'm not afraid," it's "I'm afraid but I do it anyway." You're waiting to no longer be afraid to act. You'll wait your whole life. This opportunity scares you? It will always scare. This change anguishes you. It will always anguish. The moment when you'll feel completely ready and fearless will never arrive. Action creates confidence, not the reverse. Fear constantly lies to you about your capabilities. It tells you you'll fail when you can succeed. It tells you you're not ready when you're ready enough. It tells you the danger is huge when it's often manageable. Fear is a bad advisor that always prefers status quo to growth. Understand that fear has an evolutionary purpose: protect you from real and immediate danger. When a lion chases you, fear saves you. But in the modern world, fear activates for imaginary, future, and often non-existent dangers. It treats a work presentation as if it were mortal danger. Distinguish useful fear from paralyzing fear. Useful fear tells you be careful, prepare well. Paralyzing fear tells you don't even try, you'll fail. Listen to the first, ignore the second. Prepare yourself, then act despite everything. Every time you act despite fear, you send a powerful message to your brain. Fear doesn't control me. Your brain registers this information. Next time, fear will be slightly less intense, not absent, but less paralyzing. This is how you build courage, one act at a time. Start with small actions despite fear. You don't need to do a parachute jump tomorrow. Start with that difficult conversation you avoid, with that email you postpone, with that decision you put off. Every small victory over fear makes you stronger. Fear often diminishes as soon as you start acting. What terrifies you in your imagination becomes manageable in reality. You spent weeks anguishing about something that, once done, turned out much less terrible than expected. It's almost always the case. Accept that imperfect action is worth more than perfect inaction. You'll never be 100% ready. You'll always have doubts. Information will never be complete. Act with what you have now, even if it's imperfect. You'll adjust along the way. The life you want is on the other side of your fear. Everything you deeply desire probably frightens you. It's not a coincidence. What's truly worth it often requires crossing fear to reach it. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you that disturbs you, but your judgment about what happens to you. Replace, it's scary, so I don't do it, with, it's scary, so it's probably important I do it. Change your interpretation of fear. If you're ready to make fear your action signal rather than your inaction excuse, go to the comments and write, fear is my compass, not my wall. Because those who truly live aren't those who never fear, they're those who act despite it again and again, until that fear transforms into experience. Lesson 6. Master the art of being alone. There's a fundamental difference between being alone and feeling lonely. You can be surrounded by people and feel deeply lonely. You can be physically alone and feel completely at peace. The difference lies in your relationship with yourself. Mastering the art of being alone is developing such a strong relationship with yourself that you no longer need others' constant presence to feel complete. It's not fleeing others, it's ceasing to flee yourself in others' company. Most people fear solitude. They fill every moment of silence with noise, distraction, superficial interactions. Because in silence, they're forced to confront themselves. And this confrontation frightens them. What makes you so afraid in your own company? The thoughts you avoid, the emotions you repress, the truths you don't want to face. Solitude reveals everything you usually flee. It's uncomfortable, but it's also liberating. Chosen solitude isn't isolation. Isolation is an endured cutoff, often painful. Solitude is a chosen withdrawal, a sacred moment with yourself. One diminishes you, the other strengthens you. In solitude, you truly discover yourself. Without others' opinions, without the roles you play, without social masks, who are you? What do you truly love? What matters to you? These answers can only come in silence. Solitude is also training in emotional autonomy. If you can only be happy with others, you become dependent on their presence. If you can be happy alone as well, you become free. You choose company by desire, not by need. Paradoxically, mastering the art of being alone improves all your relationships. When you no longer desperately need others, you interact with them from a place of abundance, not scarcity. You no longer cling. You no longer tolerate anything for fear of being alone. You choose with discernment. Start with small moments of intentional solitude. 1 hour per week without phone, without distraction, just you with your thoughts. A walk alone in nature. Coffee in silence at a cafe. These moments teach you to be comfortable in your own presence. Solitude also nourishes your creativity and clarity. Best ideas often come when you're alone. Wisest decisions emerge in silence. You can't think clearly in constant noise. Learn to appreciate your own company. Treat yourself as you'd treat a good friend. Do things you love, alone. Take care of yourself. Truly listen to yourself. The quality of your life is directly related to the quality of your relationship with yourself. Don't confuse solitude and social rejection. You can have a rich social life and appreciate your moments of solitude. One doesn't exclude the other. Healthy balance includes both: authentic human connections and quality time with yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "No retreat is more peaceful nor more free from trouble for man than that which he finds in his soul." The deepest peace isn't found in a place, but in your capacity to be well with yourself, wherever you are. If you're ready to transform your fear of solitude into love of your own company, go to the comments and write, "I am my best company." Because when you learn to be truly well alone, you stop tolerating mediocre relationships just to avoid solitude. Lesson 7. Nobody owes you anything. This truth hurts. Nobody owes you anything. Not your parents, not your friends, not your partner, not your employer, not life, not the universe. Nobody. Nothing you've done for others creates an obligatory debt they must repay you. You can have been there for someone 100 times, and that person may not be there for you the one time you need it. It's unfair, it's painful, but it's reality. People don't function according to an accounting system of emotional debts. Most disappointments and resentments you feel come from unexpressed expectations. You expected gratitude, you expected reciprocity, you expected loyalty, you expected others to act as you would have acted. But nobody promised you all that. You created these expectations in your head. Understanding nobody owes you anything is deeply liberating, even if it doesn't seem so at first. This truth frees you from constant expectation. It prevents you from living in victim position. It forces you to take total responsibility for your life. If nobody owes you anything, that means everything good that happens to you is a bonus, not a due. When someone helps you, it's a gift, not an obligation. When someone loves you, it's a free choice, not a debt. This perspective transforms gratitude from rare to constant. It also means you stop doing things expecting a return. You help because it aligns with your values, not because you expect a reward. You give freely or you don't give. But you don't give while mentally creating a debt the other should repay you. Nobody owes you success. Nobody owes you love. Nobody owes you respect. Nobody owes you opportunity. If you want these things, it's up to you to create them, to earn them, to attract them. By waiting for others to give them to you, you remain stuck in waiting. This truth also prevents you from staying in toxic relationships out of obligation. How many people stay in situations destroying them because they think, "But I owe them so much"? No, you don't owe your life to anyone. You can be grateful for the past without sacrificing your present and future. Free others from the debt you created in your head. They never asked you to sacrifice yourself for them. They never promised to return the favor. It's you who built this imaginary contract. Tear it up and free everyone, including yourself. Don't take this lesson as an excuse to become cynical or selfish. It's not, "Nobody owes me anything, so I do nothing for anyone." It's, "Nobody owes me anything, so when I give freely, and when I receive, I'm deeply grateful." This perspective also changes your relationship to failure. If nobody owed you success, then failure isn't cosmic injustice. It's simply life's result. You learn, you adjust, you start again. No resentment against the world. Seneca wrote, "If you want to be loved, love. Don't ask, don't beg, don't create obligations. Simply become someone of value, someone who brings something, and naturally attract what you want without demanding it." If you're ready to free yourself from all expectations weighing on you and start creating your life without waiting for others to give it to you, go to the comments and write, "I free myself from all expectations." Because true freedom begins when you stop waiting for the world to owe you something. Lesson 8. You are your only option. We've arrived at the final lesson, the one that brings all the others together. If you've listened carefully until now, you're starting to understand a fundamental truth. Nobody will come save you. Nobody will build your life for you. You are your only option. This isn't a punishment. It's the most liberating reality that exists. Because if you're your only option, that means your destiny is in your hands. You don't need to wait to be chosen, to be validated, to be given permission. You can start now. You are your only option to create the happiness you seek. Nobody can make you happy if you've decided to be unhappy. No circumstance will give you peace if you refuse to cultivate it in you. Happiness is a personal responsibility, not an external gift. You are your only option to get yourself out of that situation you hate. Stop waiting for someone to come save you. Stop waiting for circumstances to magically change. If you want a different life, it's up to you to create it. Nobody else will do it for you. You are your only option to become the person you want to be. You want to be more disciplined? Nobody will come impose discipline on you. You want to be more courageous? Nobody will give you courage. You want to be better? It's you who must do the work. This can seem lonely, and sometimes it is, but it's also incredibly powerful. Because it means you're never stuck waiting for someone else to act. You can always do something. There's always a step you can take. Being your only option doesn't mean refusing all help. You can accept support, advice, encouragement. But you don't depend on them to move forward. Others' help is a bonus, not a necessity. You're capable of moving forward alone if necessary. This realization completely transforms your relationship with yourself. You stop seeing yourself as a victim waiting to be saved and start seeing yourself as the hero of your own story. You take the reins. You become the main actor, not an extra. When you truly accept you're your only option, you stop wasting time in complaints, excuses, expectations. You move directly to action. Because if nobody will do it for you, might as well start now. This also eliminates procrastination, born of unrealistic hope. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, magical inspiration, ideal circumstances. You realize the perfect moment is now, and you're the perfect person to start, even imperfectly. You are your only option to forgive yourself. Nobody can erase your past mistakes. Nobody can free you from your guilt. Only you can decide to forgive yourself and move forward. It's your choice and your power. You are your only option to create meaning in your life. Nobody can give you a purpose, a mission, a reason to live. You must discover or create them yourself. Your life's meaning can only come from within. This final lesson closes the circle. Stay silent in the face of criticism because you're your only option, not them. Resist in the face of storms because you're your only option to cross them. Build your path because you're your only option to create it. Epictetus taught, "No man is free if he is not master of himself." Being your only option is reclaiming your mastery. It's ceasing to beg for the life you want and starting to build it stone by stone, day by day. If you're ready to accept this total responsibility and this total power over your life, go to the comments and write, "I am my only option, and that's my greatest strength." Because the day you truly realize nobody will come save you is the day you truly start saving yourself. If you made it this far, write in the comments, "I build my own path. I am stoic." Now tell me which lesson struck you most, which lesson resonates most with your current situation. You don't need to apply all 8 at once. Choose the one that speaks to you most and start there. Maybe it's the lesson on accepting rejection, staying unshakable, or being your only option. Write in the comments the lesson you'll put into practice first. This progressive approach is much more effective than trying to change everything at once. Remember, these tools complement but never replace psychological support if necessary. Personal development works best when integrated into a global support environment. Be patient with yourself. Transformation takes time, and requires constant practice. I invite you to subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment so that YouTube recognizes these videos are useful for people like you. This motivates us to continue creating similar content in the future. I suggest you review the last 2 videos we recommend. I sincerely thank you for your time and support. See you in our next video. See you very soon.